everybody. Welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I am Russ,
And I'm Chris.
and this is episode 429. 429, back in the virtual nerd basement. It is good to be here. I
Hey,
tried not
Jeepo.
to blow out the tried not to blow out the
And
speakers.
you succeeded this time.
Did I? All right,
Yes,
that's
it did
good.
not
Blow out
blow
the
out.
mic. Um,
I like beer. I like turtles.
like like turtles. Turtle. Hey, welcome everybody that's
Hey, CD.
chimed in at the moment. CD and Jeepo, and it looks like there's maybe one or two people that hasn't said hello yet. Um, it is a fucking frigid day here in Detroit.
Yeah, I fucking went out
We
in this for a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
and
I did too.
regretted it.
Yeah, oh, it's awful. We didn't have a show last week, so and although it was cold the week before, we hadn't hit this frigid holy shit storm that has covered most of the United States, most of the Midwest, blanketed the Midwest and the Eastern Seaboard with record low temperatures. So it has been not fun, not fun at all. My pipes froze for about 12 hours, maybe
Oh,
maybe
that
10
sucks.
hours. It was just in the kitchen, not in the bathroom, so we still and had water there, and I was able to get it to defrost, and so we've been doing for the last couple of days, at least at night when it's really cold, and running a trickle. I'm sure my water bill is going to reflect that next month.
Hmm.
Um, but better to pay, an extra 20, $30 on your water bill than have to have your pipes repaired.
Yeah.
So, there's that. Um, yeah. So, how was your week, Chris?
It was all right. Had to cancel curling on Sunday because of
Mm-hmm.
the weather, because of this
Mm.
fucking snow we got, and the fact that it was so cold that really they couldn't do shit with the roads.
Right. Yeah. It was crazy. I mean, I was Sunday, I was supposed to drive up to Canterbury because I'm performing on Saturday this week at Canterbury. We're doing a Um, wicked, yeah, bro. We're doing a
Totally
wicked
wicked.
dinner, totally wicked. The themed after the Wizard of Oz in the movie, and I've been hired to do the makeup on, of course, the we're doing a Tin Man, a lion, and a scarecrow, and of course Elphaba. So I'm going to be doing the makeup for that, and then you're looking at the Tin Man. So I have to do we were supposed to do like a costume fitting and stuff, and we're just like, I'm not leaving the house, man. We just got 6 inches of snow. The roads are for shit. And they're like, yeah, it's cool. We'll do a fitting on Thursday. So, um, but yeah, it's just I left the house today for the first time in since Saturday. I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
Michigan. Fucking Michigan.
yep. So that didn't happen. Monday Night Magic didn't happen over at Polly's.
Mm,
Just not enough people
yeah,
that were able to do it. So I didn't get to play Magic. We did, however, get to play D&D on Friday night.
we did, and it was a lot of fun. We had hit third level.
Yep.
And so we were able to it was our first game. We hit third level after the previous game. We had and got into a fight. You started a combat at 11 o'clock, and at first I'm like, bullywugs, because it was kind of cool. It was
Yeah.
like bullywugs, man. That's like a classic D&D monster. You don't
Mm-hmm.
it's up there with kobolds and orcs, and those kind of maybe a little less known
Goblins.
than some. It's goblins. But bullywugs have been around since first edition. They're crazy, like a crazy classic one. So I'm like, oh wow, bullywugs. I haven't fought bullywugs in a long time. And for those of you who don't know, bullywugs are frog people. And this, so we're fighting, and we knock out a couple, and then a couple more spring up. I'm like, fuck, okay. A couple more spring up. And then finally, we get like the boss shows up on a toad and a giant toad and with like 12 more behind him. I'm like, oh, we're getting captured. This would be great. And and Chris is like, and we had to end it because it would have gone too much longer. We were already after midnight. So, And unfortunately, I won't be able to be at the next session, which will be on the 13th, because I'll be opening the Dirty Show in Detroit here.
Yeah, so I was looking at that and I'm like, well, if we go 2 weeks, we could play on the 6th. Russ might be able to make that one.
Well, I can
And
make that. Yeah.
well, then I realized though that Renee has a bonspiel in Canada the
Uh,
next morning, and she has to be there pretty early.
sure.
So I'm like, that's not going to work because she'd have to bow out at like 10 probably and try
Canada,
and
where?
Chatham,
Oh, okay.
not too far, just the other side of
That's not
Windsor,
too far. Yeah.
maybe an hour. But yeah,
Well,
it's a women's one day spiel
mm,
she's going to. Should be a lot of fun. It'll be her first spiel in Canada.
in Canada?
In Canada.
Oh, all right.
Um, Speaking of which, we will be going. Renee and I are going there this week to go watch the Scotties. Which, if you're interested in some really good curling, check out the Scotties on YouTube. It's the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. The Scotties is a tissue brand in Canada. I don't think we get them here in the States. Uh, and they sponsor this tournament. It's basically the women's national championship. It's whoever wins this becomes Team Canada and goes to the Worlds to represent Canada.
All
Um,
right.
the it's but it's just some really great curling. There are 3 draws per day during the week. 9 a.m. Eastern. These are all Eastern times. 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. And then on the weekend, this weekend there'll be 2 draws on Friday, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and then the same thing Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. So we'll be out there for those. Should be a great time. The Briar was a blast, so I'm looking forward to this. Um, should be a really good time. But yeah, other than that, it was work. It was cold. It was snow. I'm still I'm finally recovered from being sick. I'm finally feeling better. Now Renee is sick.
Oh,
Um,
figures.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got sick on Saturday, right after she started going downhill, I guess, at the game. She started not feeling so great, and then Saturday morning she woke up and she was full on sick.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, she wasn't feeling 100%, that's for sure. I remember her saying she wasn't feeling
yeah.
great at the game.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was. She had a fever for a couple of days. That broke. I think it was on Sunday night, or Sunday morning, something like that. And then but she was feeling better, and then all of a sudden she started not feeling good again. So um, she didn't curl on Sunday or on well, we didn't curl at all on Sunday, but she didn't curl on Monday. She didn't go to her classes tonight. She's still got a cough and still not feeling great. So hopefully she'll be better before our trip.
Right on.
But yeah, other than that, same old last two
Right on.
weeks. Trip out to Grand Rapids was okay, but I actually drove home early to avoid snow.
Mm.
And I'm really glad I did because we got like 3 inches or so here, and they got even more out there.
Yeah.
On Wednesday morning. So I drove home Thursday night. One of the things I did do while I was there was I did get to pick up. I'm not drinking it tonight, but I will be soon. I got to pick up my special bottle of bourbon from New Holland Distillery. Um, and yeah, it's the Cerise Barrel bourbon. It's exclusive to the Dragons Keep members, their VIP club that I joined. So I will give a review of that in a week or two. So how about you? How was your week?
Man, same old, dude, just kind of chilling. I got into like I said, I was playing, got into a couple of video games. I was playing I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, but I'm kind of like, this is entertaining and it's irreverent, but I'll come back to this later. I think I've got some other games that I'm a little more interested in playing. So I set that aside to get back into playing some Lego Star Wars. So I did that for a little while and playing the newer Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. It's fun and the Lego games are a lot of fun. But again, I'm like, like this is a casual game. This is a game I can come back to here and there. And I wanted to get into a game like with a little more meat to it. So I installed on my PlayStation Star Wars Outlaws, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's been kind of cool to play a video game that's not a Star Wars setting that's not tied directly to like Luke and Leia and Han Solo and Chewbacca and that group. In fact, I haven't seen a single Force user or Jedi or anything since I've started the game. I'm still pretty close to the beginning, but it's been entertaining so far. I'm really, kind of enjoying it. Um, Other than that, just kind of chilling, and I'm doing some um, cleanup around the house and trying to get ready for, I got about a little over a month, and then I'll be back to doing some time at work. So, got to make February count. And my birthday's coming up. I'm trying not to get too depressed and just trying to survive in this frozen hellscape that is also on fire
Yes.
at the same time.
Yeah, it's a
I'm out.
frozen fire.
It is. I mean, I got to admit it, and I've been having these Tuesday afternoons. I've been getting together with some friends to have lunch, and it's been a big help between that, our D&D game, some of these more social things that I've been doing. Because I got to admit too, I mean, I don't think I get seasonal effectiveness disorder like badly, but I think the cold in the
Dude,
winter does start to get to me a little bit. And getting out of the house, being kind of forced to get out of the house, like to go get my comics or to go to gaming or to go, like have lunch with a specific group of friends has really helped me to kind of like just deal. So
yeah.
it's Eric at work, Eric from work, and John Dunavant, and Paulie has been at this
Hmm.
Tuesday a couple of times. Um, this guy Chris Brown, who used to own Comics and More on John R. With five of us have been having lunch, and it's been pretty cool. Not everybody's shown up every time. John and Paulie have had some conflicts, but today they were there. Chris wasn't there, but it's been nice, and we've been just hanging out at the Cozy Lounge on 10 Mile, having a really really great burger. If you're local and you want a really great hamburger, try
Never
the
been
Cozy
there.
Lounge. Huh?
Never been there.
Oh, it's great. It's just a little kind of hole in the wall bar, but they've got an couple of award-winning hamburgers, and really fantastic. So it's right on 10 Mile, just east of John R. Like couple
Over in the
blocks.
industrial area.
Yeah, right over there by that. Yeah, exactly. Um,
It's all
and
like manufacturing down
yeah, we'll probably have to move it to Fridays eventually, but and then maybe a little bit later in the day. But if we were going to continue to do it regularly. But yeah, it's been a real
there.
big help. Yeah. So
Well,
far.
oh, I was gonna tell you something and I lost it now. Shit. And then but CD, yeah, I I have looked at housing in Canada, actually. Um I actually have looked at that. Oh, I know what it was. I was gonna tell you, so I don't think I have seasonal affective disorder. I think I just have America depression right now.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it's not too far apart. American depression is
Unfortunately, I think it's
definitely.
gonna last a few years.
I agree. This is getting ugly, dude. It's really getting ugly. But I guess we should probably get into some of that. We're gonna
What are you drinking
what
first?
do we drink tonight? Actually, just drinking some Black Phillip. Ba-ba. My buddy Dave came over the other night, and he was kind of feeling needed some social activity as well. He's like, "Hey," he texts me, "Hey, what do?" And I'm like, "I'm just gonna make some burritos and maybe watch Sinners." And he goes, "Cool, bet." I'm like, "What are you, fucking?" I mean, he's a Gen Xer. He's like a younger Gen Xer, but he's a Gen Xer like we are. I'm like, bet? Okay, whatever. I was like, you want to come over? He's like, yes. All right, come on over. I'm making food. And he came over. We didn't watch Sinners. We ended up watching Guardians of the Galaxy. Because
Mm.
he wanted to watch something with Rocket Raccoon. I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm down. It's all right. And but he brought over some Black Phillip because he knows I like it. And I was like, this just came in the right place, man. This is one of my favorites from Blake's. Really fantastic. It is their winter flavor generally, which I find to be interesting because it's blood orange and cranberry, and orange is still a citrus fruit, which is still usually grown in the summer. But I mean, granted, with growing times all over the place, it's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be. But I really do like it. I think the cranberry and the blood orange go well together. They balance each other, and it is one of my favorite ciders from Blake's. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
just hit
should
a
try it, CD. It's good. It's
Yeah,
really
it
good.
is.
I like it.
It's a really it is. Yeah, no, dude, CD, it's a good cider. It's it's not as sweet as it sounds. I mean, it is probably on the sweeter
It's a
side for
little
Blake.
tart.
It's a little more tart. I think the cranberries, like I said,
Hmm.
balance the sweetness of the blood orange. So, um, but it's a great cider.
It really
So,
is.
what
Not my
about you? What do
favorite,
you think?
but it's definitely one I do enjoy.
Right on. What are you drinking?
I am drinking something I picked up in Wisco Land
Wisco Land.
when I was there a couple of weeks ago. It's
Mm.
one that you can't get here. It's from Youngblood Beer Company, which I know CD has a lot of their stuff.
Youngblood.
It is the John Wick of cheeseburgers. Is the name of the beer.
The John Wick of cheeseburgers
Yep.
is the name of the beer.
Yes.
God damn, dude.
It's a pastry stout uh, with toasted oats, cinnamon, and vanilla. It says on the side here, you know how John Wick just annihilates assassins and bodyguards? Our boy Bear does that with cheeseburgers.
Okay.
When he sits himself at a table, he does so with grit and determination. The
Grit and
yeah,
determination.
the only tools needed to complete the job are a steady supply of high life uh, to wash them down or to wash them down. Uh, once our boy Bear, this is hard to read on this. It's got like slashes and stuff through it. So our boy Bear. Oh, let me look at this way. Light's better. Uh, well, he's Mr. Hot Dog, but that's another story for another time. Okay. But anyway, this is 8% ABV. Uh it's a dark color. Um oh, CD said he hasn't seen this one. I said they never make stouts. I have to find that one. The stories and names are the best. Yeah, they really are. That's actually what got me was like, okay, I the John Wick of cheeseburgers. I have to try this now. Um mm, it is very much a pastry stout. It is a sweet stout. Um it there's a lot of cinnamon. The undertone of vanilla is there. You don't so much get the toasted oats, but that's just kind of a mouthfeel thing, I think. Um Overall though, I mean it actually comes through with some chocolate um and a little caramel. It's overall it's a pretty good stout. I would probably give this a 3.75 out of 5. A little sweeter than I normally like them. But this is definitely a dessert beer. It is dessert in a glass. Oh, it's making me burp too. Um, but yeah, I like it. I've got 3 more. So, Brewer's Reserve 7-layer stout, bourbon barrel aged, 12%, 4.25 out of 5. Central Waters Brewing. Strongest 7-layer bar I've had. Be sure. It's supposed to be beer I've had. Deep roasty chocolate and a mix of sweet caramel and other layers. I also have. Hey Darius, what up, man? What's up from the other side of the pond?
Wow, right on.
Um,
Yeah, that's right. And it's
uh,
like middle of the night there, isn't it?
yeah, it
Yeah,
must be on
yeah.
holiday.
Like one
Happy New
o'clock
Year,
or
man.
something.
Um, yeah, so let's I really don't want to get into it, but
We do have to, but we got to get into it.
we got to
Let's
get
start
get
with the
into it a
shit.
little.
Yeah.
Um, fuck ice, fuck
Fuck ice.
ice, fuck ice.
Okay, so over the
Um,
weekend, Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, actually, there was a tragic death
oh,
uh,
feel better,
a
man.
37-year-old norovirus. Ooh, that sucks. A 37-year-old ICU nurse that worked at the VA hospital. Of course, probably most of you have heard about this now.
Alex
Was
Petrie, Preddy,
what is it?
Preddy.
Preddy?
Yeah,
Preddy.
Alex Preddy.
Preddy. I had heard it pronounced Peretti, but I don't think that's correct. I think it would have an extra E.
Yeah,
So Preddy was killed by ice in a unbelievably egregious fuck
10
up.
fucking rounds.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
like, oh my god, these fuckers are not trained.
no, they're not trained at all. I mean, a friend of mine posted a analyzation. Now, this friend, he's a dude I've known from the fairs, and he's apparently very conservative. And I got into essentially a civil argument about Renee Good because he was trying to take the side of the cop or of the ICE agent because calling them cops does do cops a disservice.
Yes.
Tried to defend the ICE agent, saying that it was justified, and we're like, dude, no, none of it. And well, Zach had then posted a article that was written by a reporter that is known to cover this kind of thing, shootings, police shootings, and whatever. And it was it was extremely well written. It did come off a little bit conservative, a little bit right wing, because it was very much like, well, the this wouldn't have happened if the Minnesota police were supporting ICE like they should and securing the streets and doing this and this so they can do their job. Um, this reporter did, and it gave her credentials at the end, like 25 years as a reporter, reporting on this kind of stuff. She reported on the Rittenhouse trial. She reported on 9/11, a lot of different things. Um, and that she did call out the mistakes that the ICE agents made, but she also brought up a number of theories about the fact that and different things that, well, you have to understand like we're seeing what happened through the perspective of the people that were taking footage from, 6, 8 feet away, the people that were in that scrum that, were reacting to what they were seeing at the time. One of the guys.
They also overreact
Oh,
completely.
absolutely. Now, I'm not defending what they did, but the article did definitely rationalize very well, and it was scary because that's what it did. It rationalized out what happened and tried to defend the cop or the I called him cop again, the ICE agent, in saying that there were a lot of things going on, and you have to understand the pressure they're under and all these other things. And it's like, look, lady, if they can't handle the pressure of this job that they're being paid very well for, because they're being paid pretty well, then they shouldn't be doing it.
They're getting
They
six
should have been
figures.
trained better. Um, we saw Alex Preddy go down, and and he was disarmed. He was carrying legally carrying a firearm. He was disarmed of that firearm, and then they shot and killed him.
After he was
And
also pepper sprayed in
sprayed
the
and
face
on the ground,
excessively
and
on the
beaten
ground,
and pistol whipped.
and then whipped with the pepper spray can.
Hmm.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up, so a few things. So I watching things, and I've been watching more and more of what they're doing out there. These ICE agents aren't just armed with pepper spray. They
No,
are armed with crowd control pepper spray.
correct,
Though the pepper spray that they have is meant to be used as a fog to disperse a crowd
correct.
or to control a crowd.
Darius, you can if you have the proper registration. If you're a registered gun owner,
Yeah,
you can't have it in your hands if you were to go up to a cop
yeah.
because that would be considered brandishing it, but you can have it in a holster on your body. It depends on certain states, though, also,
Yeah, all
which
the
is
the laws are different in each state.
yeah, the laws are different
Um,
in each state, but you can have. There are some states that
like
allow you to have concealed
Texas,
carry.
you can actually have open carry, which means as
Yeah,
long as you can see the gun on your side, you can carry it, whether you have a license to do it or not.
yeah, that's correct. As long as you but if you want to conceal it, you have to have a proper permit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are
Um,
people that walk around like
but
cowboys, like they've got a gun on their head in
and trust me,
Texas.
Darius, we are trying to get there's a lot of us here that are trying to get this sorted out. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the World Cup from the U.S.
Oh yeah,
with all the shit that's going on, and I
absolutely.
wouldn't blame them. I
In
wouldn't blame
fact,
them
there
at
are
all.
people that are trying to encourage the World Cup organization to pull
FIFA,
it at
yeah,
FIFA, yeah, to pull it
in protest.
in
But
protest
but
because of what's
FIFA
going
gave
on.
Trump the FIFA Peace
The
Prize.
Peace
So
Prize, the FIFA Peace Prize, whatever the fuck, kissing his ass. So anyway, the article I read was extremely well written, but it was also extremely it was all about justification or trying to rationalize what
yep.
happened.
Hey
Um,
Ojipo, I disagree with you. As a gun owner myself, I think he was perfectly within his rights to carry it to the protest,
he's within
especially
his
with what's
rights,
going on.
absolutely within his rights. If he wanted to, there were a number of conservatives that showed up to protest like mask wearing and to protest a bunch of different things to different events, showed up fully armed with assault rifles. They stood there. They didn't get harassed. They might have gotten like somewhat harassed by counter protesters, but they didn't get harassed by police. They um, it was completely fine. Kyle Rittenhouse, who showed up and ended up killing three people, showed up with an assault rifle at 17, holding a weapon he shouldn't have been having, shouldn't legal didn't wasn't legally allowed to have in the state that he was in. Yet he
Traveled to a
is
different state to do
exonerated,
this.
traveled to a whole different state, to basically stand in front of a business to try and protect it during the Black Lives Matter, protests. It was and ended up killing three people and was not sent to jail, was exonerated of criminal charges. And yet this guy who was not brandishing his weapon basically had it in a holster and on the small of his back at his waist, um, was beat down by a group of like eight ICE agents who disarmed him, took the gun away from him, and then shot and killed him.
On the ground.
There were what's that?
On the ground.
On the ground while he was lying on the ground. There are some people that have said, well, the guy that shot him just heard he's got a gun. There was a question as to whether the Alex's weapon had been accidentally discharged. It hadn't. There's been a lot
You see
of
the guy carrying it away with two fingers.
right, exactly. There's a lot of people trying to figure this shit out. And it's ugly.
But yes,
And
so
because it's only been a couple of days too.
but yes, back to what as a having had police training, granted as a reserve, I was never a full blown police officer. But I've had police training. We got pepper sprayed. To be able to use it, you had to be pepper sprayed. And the way they did it was with a fogger. Basically, it's a great big can and he just fogged the air and we had to walk through it. And it sucked.
Hmm.
I cannot imagine. And I know like the little one I carried, it was just a little spray. It comes
Yeah.
out in one little stream and you hit the person and then that was it. Um it it
Yeah,
works
it is
on
dreadful.
90% of people. 10% of people
Yeah.
are actually unaffected by pepper spray.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're carrying dispersing pepper spray and they're spraying it in people's faces, directly in people's faces from inches away is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that the people's faces are turning orange
Orange,
like
yeah.
Donald Trump's
From the
from
from
the pepper
the spray.
spray
Hmm.
shows that it is excessive. That to
Yep.
me that is excessive force.
Yep.
Um them shooting him, excessive force. And the
Well, there.
fact that they came out and said, well, you'll never know who he is. We're never going to give up his identity. We've moved him out of the state. He's still on the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Because they're equating it to being doxxed because
Yeah,
people would be able to find out where he lives and stuff. Well, that is the risk you take when you break the law.
yeah. He should be on
Um,
trial for murder.
he should be. He should
So
absolutely be
should
on
the
trial.
guy that shot Renee Good.
Yeah, in fact, all of the men that were part of that assault should be charged with accessory because they were all part of it. They all shot him. That was the other thing. The one guy shot him initially, and then they all started shooting. So who's to say who actually was the one that shot him with the life-ending bullet, you know? Um,
Well, then I heard they were also caught. Rather than trying to get him medical attention,
one of
they
them
were
started
counting.
clapping.
They were counting bullet holes.
And one of them was like, "Woo, yeah," you know. Um, this is a fucking clown show.
Oh, I
There
didn't
have been
know that,
people,
Darius. I didn't know there was a chat show host over in UK with the same name as the shooter of Renee Good.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jonathan Ross, yeah,
yeah. It only took hours to find out his name
yeah,
because
because
he had some
Vance,
very distinctive.
yeah, yeah, Vance slipped some information that people were able to figure out who he was. Um, that and there was a pretty decent picture of like him from nose up, and people were
Mhm.
able to go, yeah, that's the guy. Um, it is a fucking clown show. These guys are
I love Graham Norton.
undertrained, and Graham Norton's the best. But these guys are
He's had some health
undertrained.
issues.
They are not. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, and that's why these people have been killed. And the other thing is too, the sad shit is it ultimately it took the death of another white person to finally get. I think these are the straws that broke the camel's back because there was another gentleman, a black gentleman, and a whole bunch of other like Hispanic men have been also brutally murdered by ICE in the last few months. And
Like, they're pulling
this is
American
ridiculous.
citizens out of their house in their underwear
Mhm.
in freezing
Yeah, a guy
cold.
who was in the shower, and they pulled him out of the shower.
A
They
U.S.
put him out.
citizen.
Yeah, exactly. There've been well, that's just besides that, they've been treating people inhumanely. The detention centers are inhumane.
Hmm.
Are they doing the job? That's the question. Like the question was, they're supposed to be hunting down dangerous criminals. Yes, they have deported some dangerous criminals that needed to go. I even
But
saw one
but the
was a guy from
2-year-olds
South.
and the 3-year-olds,
Oh yeah,
those are not dangerous
no,
criminals.
using a 5-year-old as bait to get their family out of the house. To come, hey, we got your kid. We got your kid here. Come get him. Come on. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting and it's horrible. But again, I mean, have they been able to find some criminals? Yeah, probably. Maybe I don't know if they have in Minnesota, but they have
Some of
found
them are,
some.
Darius. Some are starting to turn, but
Yeah. Um,
some of the deep MAGA right are still
well, the Republican candidate for governor in Minnesota,
one of them.
uh, one of them. The one who is most likely going to be the one to give Waltz a run for his money in the election, uh, ended his campaign and publicly stated that he could not represent this party any further. It was like I can't look in my at my daughters and
And
justifiably say that I could represent
and
this.
whereas one of the GOP candidates here in Michigan doubled down on it and applauded
Hmm.
the ICE agents.
Yeah. So it's been, but what has been going on? We have seen a good number of people switching teams, particularly as they started to blame Alex Preddy being a gun owner and carrying a gun. They were like, suddenly, the party of the NRA of legal gun ownership was like blaming this gun owner for the fact that he was killed,
Yeah, he
that he was
obviously
carrying
wasn't
a gun.
peacefully protesting,
Hmm.
but yes, yeah,
And
Kyle Rittenhouse was.
right.
The
So
NRA has actually come out and said no.
No. Yeah, exactly. I was shocked.
he was legally allowed to carry that
Hmm.
gun.
John Stewart himself also came on and was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me
Yeah,
here?"
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh man,
I want to watch the Jon Stewart from yesterday.
I saw a clip and it was crazy. Because yeah, he was like, "I can't. I mean, I can kind of understand you, doing this, saying goodbye to this amendment and this amendment and that amendment, this, but the Second Amendment, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And then they did a graphic with pigs flying across, the thing. Um, it's unbefucking believable that that this is actually happening. Um, the
Fuck, the governor of Texas, Abbott, has come out and
mhm.
said, "Hey, you need to pull ICE back."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, apparently 60 different corporations because there was also a general strike in Minnesota, which means everybody struck. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
just didn't show up to work or walked off the job from all kinds of jobs across the board. And so, like 60 different corporations have sent letters to the government saying this has got to end. Um, the all kinds of things. It's just been unbefucking believable how the response is happening. And as was announced
They're a
last
blue
night,
state, Darius, and um the governor was the VP candidate, the vice presidential candidate that ran against Trump. That's
yeah,
why.
there are a lot of people that are basically
It is.
saying that this is just a
This is all
revenge.
retribution.
It's all retribution. Donald Trump has targeted Minnesota. He was like, go there and make noise. And Minnesota is traditionally a very blue state, which is wild in my mind considering of where it is. I mean, Minnesota is this like big open space.
Well, I think like they're like Michigan. The cities are very blue
Uh-huh.
and the rural areas are more red.
Yeah, probably. So, but we have had some good news. Greg Bovino, who was the um commander in chief, commander at large of the the ICE forces, ICE whatever, has basically been thrown under the bus. He was this small man. I don't really like how they're bringing up how they really are making a big deal out of it. He's just this short guy. He's like 5'3", 5'4". Um, Maybe he does have small man syndrome. I don't know, but I have made a big deal out of him. He's just I think it's more ridiculous that he is walking around in these uniforms that he looks like a fucking Nazi. He really does. These paramilitary uniforms are
Um,
absolutely ridiculous.
so hold on, I gotta address what Darius just said because this is something I was going to
Mhm.
bring up. Yes, Darius, I think that is their entire plan. They are they are pushing and pushing and pushing, and with these murders and everything like that, they want someone to shoot an ICE agent
Yeah,
because they will sacrifice an ICE agent or two so that Trump can declare that it's an
martial law.
insurrection. He can
Hmm.
declare the Insurrection Act, and he
Insurrection
can
Act.
cancel the 2026 elections.
Yeah, I think
That's their goal because that's the only way the Republicans are staying in power right now.
hmm exactly. If and when, well, when we have the midterm elections, there is going to be a blue wave that is going to oust a lot of people from their various offices, and then will also lead to massive numbers of impeachments and potentially removals from
Well, we'll
office.
see about that because they're saying that the Democrats probably aren't going to take over the Senate, but they will get the House. Now that I have heard that the House, if they get the House, that there's already plans where they're already making plans that they will be impeaching Trump and Vance.
Hmm. Yeah, but impeachment doesn't necessarily mean removal, so
Right. It has
that's
to go
obvious.
to yeah. So impeachment means that the House finds that there's enough evidence for them to be removed from office. They then
Hmm.
send it to the Senate for trial, and if the Senate takes it up, then it's like a 2/3 vote. I think it is for them to be
Right,
removed,
correct.
which I don't
Um,
think is going to happen. But
but like I said, some good news. Greg Bovino has been removed from his position.
the bad news is
He,
Tom Homan's being put in charge.
well, I mean, it does show that the protests are having some effect. There is a rumor too that Kristi Noem's head is on the chopping block as well. That her job is at risk because she's the one that's in charge of all of them. You know, she is the
Yeah,
director of
there's
Homeland
been lots of
Security.
talk about impeaching her too.
Oh yeah. Um, so we shall see. It's a complete shit show over here, and Minnesota is the first staging ground, pretty
So
much.
yes, Darius. So ICE was actually implemented after 9/11.
Hmm.
That's when it was created,
Right,
and it was mostly they weren't a big force.
right. They
Trump
didn't show. They didn't
Trump
walk around in paramilitary
right.
uniform.
They didn't bust into people's homes, things like that.
Right. They
Trump
wore
has made them into his
windbreakers.
personal police force.
Hmm. They
Um,
wore windbreakers. They were basically out. They were only allowed to operate within 100 miles of the border.
mm,
So they were not actually supposed to, and they still are supposed to work under the mandates originally set up for ICE. Now they have been completely superseding all of that.
yeah, and yeah, like what CD said, they were told they're above the law after 47 days of training.
Hmm.
Um, they they feel like they are. They feel like they're untouchable, and that
They
they can
think
do
they are.
anything. They ICE actually has a very limited scope on what they can do legally, by their charter, and that is basically anything. It has to do with immigration, and it has to do with they have to know that the person that they're going after is here illegally.
Right.
They they can't just bust into somebody's home because they think the person's illegal. They
They
can't pull
can't.
cars over.
Right. They
They
can't create like a checkpoint saying,
yeah,
"Hey, show us your papers."
yeah,
And they have been specifically in their actions of late been targeting brown and black people.
yes.
Anybody that is non-Caucasian has been at risk. Which is complete bullshit. That shouldn't be the case. They should be, if they are hunting down somebody that is a criminal, it doesn't matter what color their skin is. You know, like I said, I did see that they did deport some dude from South Africa who looked the Aryan ideal. He was blonde and chiseled features, and but
Yeah.
apparently they sent him back to South Africa.
Yeah, so Darius, yeah, Kash Patel, the leader of the FBI, is a podcaster.
Right.
That's really what he was. That's what he was known for. Conspiracy theory podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't necessarily they fired some people, but a lot of people in the FBI and Justice Department quit because they couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um Other things are Secretary of Defense, now calling himself the Secretary of War,
Right.
um, is a Fox News host
Oh,
and
he
is
had.
so unqualified for his job. Our
He is
Attorney
the most
General is
unqualified.
Trump's personal attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, he really isn't. He really. I don't think he has any
No,
background in
Pete
police
Hegseth.
force.
Actually, no, Hegseth was in the army.
Well, no, I'm talking about Patel.
Oh, Patel. Um, I think he was. I think he was in
Was he in police?
some sort of police. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. There's no way he would have been able to be. Um, he would have gotten approved from the Senate if he didn't have at least some experience.
I'm
Because you
sure he
can't.
would. It's fucking Trump's cronies. That's they bow down to him.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, there's still
He was a
certain
lawyer.
requirements. Oh, okay. Cash Patel was just a lawyer. That's it.
I'm looking at. Yeah, it says he was he's a lawyer. Um, he's also the acting director of the ATF.
So, national security prosecutor, a senior aide on the House Intelligence Committee, and held top roles in the first Trump administration, including chief of staff to the acting secretary of defense and senior counterterrorism director of the National Security Council. Okay, so he was involved with a bunch of that, but what makes him, you know, qualified to serve as the head of the FBI? That's a law enforcement
Yeah,
division. I mean, these are not.
he's a public defender and federal prosecutor, House Committee aide, National Security Council aide, and deputy director of national intelligence. Chief of Staff to the Secretary of Defense. That's what his background is.
I think one of the weirdest things about him is his thousand yard stare. You know, like
Yeah,
whenever they take a picture of him, he just looks like he's like
yeah.
scared. You know.
But anyway,
Hmm.
this is all it's all crazy here. We're trying to right the ship. We got to keep talking about it because the if you don't talk about it, then it's an
We're doomed to
acceptance of
repeat
it,
it. Yeah.
and I refuse to accept it.
Yeah.
Um, it sucks that people are getting murdered. Um, and yeah, it's this is another very dark time in American history that
Hmm.
needs to never be whitewashed over like a lot of our other stuff. Um,
Absolutely. And we got to keep our head above ourselves and try not to like buy into all the conspiracy theories and shit too. That's also something that's going to make things insane. The problem is some of the things that people are saying, these conspiracy theories are actually starting to make sense. And it's like, yeah, they would totally do, some of these things that some of the conspiracy theories are theorists are saying, and it's ridiculous. And then on top, I think the biggest insult to injury is the fact that both Trump and Kristi Noem, both for both of these last two murders, have both come out and demonized the victims and called them
immediately.
domestic immediately and called them domestic terrorists, said that they were terrible people and everything, when it is absolutely false. That every person that has come out to talk about Alex
Ready.
has said that he was a wonderful person. He was an ICU nurse at the VA hospital. He took care of veterans. I mean, this was a really good
He was
person.
trying to help a woman that had been shoved to the ground by an ICE
Right.
agent.
Exactly. And people keep the people that are defending ICE, even a little bit, even the ones that have said, yeah, that shouldn't have happened, but he should have just minded his own fucking business. And we're like, he was doing what he was trained to do. He was caring for a person who had just been fucking pepper sprayed in the face and then shoved to the ground, a woman. So, and
He
he
did
had
have
been video.
so
He had been taping ahead of time,
he
and but
had
he didn't like
he had what ICE considers the worst weapon of all, though. He
the
had a
camera.
phone that he was
Yep,
recording them on.
exactly.
And that is the ICE, that is the worst weapon a person can have.
Yep, absolutely. Because people are showing in real time what is happening. I was telling Stella last night that 20 years ago, 20, 25 years ago, before everybody was carrying a camera in their pocket, like if something like this had happened, we all would have probably believed, at least at first, the government line. Oh, well, this guy was dangerous. He was carrying a gun. He was brandishing a gun. They were fearful for their life. All of these things. We might have actually bought it because we didn't have the camera footage right away. We would have gone, oh, okay, yeah, this guy, then he got shot or whatever, and he must have been doing something wrong. And then maybe a couple weeks later, the camera footage, whatever camera footage that might have been available, would have come out, and then you know investigations would have happened and things like that. But now we have it right away. We have it immediately,
Yep.
and they're trying to lie to us and tell us they're treating us like we're fucking morons,
Yeah, they're
and they're
trying to tell
lying
us
to
that
us
we're
right away.
not seeing what we obviously are seeing.
Right? They're trying to gaslight us immediately, and it's insulting. It's like, fuck,
So,
Christy, no, shut the fuck up.
hey
You know,
Darius, by the way, my wife and I are trying to move over to that part of the world, like Ireland, England. If you know anything, if you got any job leads, let me know.
yeah.
Um, I'm a network engineer, senior network engineer. I've done networking for a long time. Um, my wife's in environmental science, so um, but anyway, just throwing that out there. Um, the
Good for a hookup, I guess.
yeah, yeah, hook a brother up. Um, so we should move on though.
We should
We
move
talked
on.
about that longer than we wanted to.
Yeah, we did.
I'm on LinkedIn. Choose me. Choose me. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, CD. Um, so we've had a number of things going on lately. I mean, this is a huge time for shows and stuff. There's a lot of shows coming back. The Rookie's back, which that's been great.
It's been great. It's always
Um,
great.
um,
It's on tonight, I believe.
oh,
Isn't
I
it?
didn't know
It's on
that, Darius.
Tuesdays.
I didn't know that's where they were. I'm actually looking at Ireland. That's where I'm really trying to get to. Um, but I got one of my oldest friends from way back in high school. I've known him since I was a sophomore, uh, or junior. He lives in Belfast. So anyway, but yeah, the Rookie is back. That's fantastic. Again, I think this might be its last season. I think they were talking that this one or the next one is the last season.
I
Um,
hadn't heard anything about it coming to an end. I know that they are planning another spin-off that they tried because the FBI one
the
didn't
FBI
really
one was a
resonate.
bad choice.
I don't know. I liked it. It still had a similar vibe to the Rookie, but it just didn't work out. So I like that we've started seeing some of those
I
characters from that show show up on the Rookie though.
I didn't like that character, so
Didn't like
I
her.
no. So I'm like, I'm
Okay.
not watching an entire show based on her. Um, Greenland sounds good right now. Yeah, CD.
Mm.
um, but we've also got other shows like we've got the new season of Fallout going on. We've got Starfleet Academy going. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about both those later. But starting today is the new Marvel series,
Yeah.
Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I started that one
yeah,
too,
and
which
96.
I'm not sure on that one yet. I think they're trying to be a little too funny.
Oh man,
Um,
I love it. I think it's hilarious. Did you watch this week's episode,
I
the
haven't
second
watched
one?
this week's. I watched the first episode. That's the only one. Like him shitting behind the tree. I'm like,
Oh God, dude, that was
there was no need for that.
hilarious.
There was no
It was
need for that.
hilarious. It was like the music building, and he's looking into and then a hard cut to him just shitting himself. I was like, this is the tone of show that they're going for. I think it's fucking hilarious. I think well, let's just get into it. I think the Night of the Seven Kingdoms is it's a lighter show. It's only supposed to be, I think 6 episodes.
The second episode was the biggest
Dude,
dick I've
right?
seen on
Oh my
TV.
God. Stella and I just watched it before the show. And yeah, the night that he's reminiscing about the night, and he walks out of the very beginning of the episode. He's an older guy, he's probably a dude in his 60s. He walks out of the door, stark naked, turns, and his massive schlong, and he just starts peeing right there. You see everything. And I'm like, and Stella was like, "Do you think that's real?" And I go, I probably not, but
It's a little extension.
yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that
Can
was
I
a
get a penile
prosthetic.
extension here?
Dude, you'll see it. It was like, holy crap in a hat. That was, and then you see him go back into the hut because he walked out of a hut, go back in the hut, and there's a woman laying on her side, asleep. And you goddamn right she's asleep. She worked hard more than likely. Jesus Christ. But it's funny. I mean, you're getting into this kind of lighter thing, and we're learning a little bit more about Duncan. We're learning more about the state of the
Sir
world
Dunk.
there. Sir
That's
Dunk,
not going to
right?
work.
Sir Dunk. He's calling himself Duncan the Tall. I'm
Yeah.
Sir Duncan the Tall. And I mean, and he really is like 6'6". I mean, he's towering over
Hmm.
like all these other people. Apparently in the story, he's actually closer to 7 feet tall. But people do remark about how big he is. At one point, he encounters two knights of the two members of the King's Watch, and they're wearing the white armor. And the one guy looks at him and goes, "Do you ride your horse, or does the horse ride you?" And he chuckles a little bit. And um, I don't want to do too many spoilers because you haven't seen the episode too. But I'm really enjoying, actually. We get to see a lot more of Egg, the kid with the bald kid,
Mm.
and he is adorable. Like he is. This is a very talented actor, and like some of his facial expressions are really funny. Duncan is trying to talk to this one woman, and he's just em embarrassing himself. You can tell he kind of likes her. He's just embarrassing himself, and this kid is just looking at him like, "You're an idiot." And um, I
Oh,
think I think as long as we keep a lighter tone, I think the show is actually going to be
I had
really
not
good.
heard that, Ojibo. Sal Buscema passed away.
Oh, I don't know if I heard about that. Sal Buscema is passing. Sal was a big deal
Yeah.
in
I mean, let's put it this way. I know who he is, and I didn't
yeah,
really pay attention to a lot of artists.
yeah. He was I mean he was one of the early like
The
he was more
Baratheon
part
guy
of
was
like
pretty good in the first one. The
what's
Baratheon
that?
Knight. The Baratheon Knight.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
or
Sal
Lord.
Sal Buscema was he was kind of that second generation. He came in like the 70s, I think, and he was born in 36. Um,
I didn't realize he was that old.
and I think Marvel, yeah, it says born in 36. He just died on the 23rd last week. Um, and yeah, he died at 89. So he was one of those guys that kind of came in after Stan and Ditko and Jack Kirby had already kind of established things. And Buscema did a lot of art, particularly in the 80s. He was kind of really well known for a lot of art in the 80s. He actually was also one of the artists that drew one of the Bibles of comic book art called uh, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. I have it on my
Hmm.
shelf over here. But it was one of those things that
I think I
almost
might have that
all,
downstairs.
yeah, almost all artists. Let me. I got it right here. Let me reach for it. Almost all artists at some point. Oh, it was John Buscema. John Buscema. So there was. It was his brother, I believe.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I have that one. Yep.
drew work on this, but yeah, Sal and John, they were both like kind of big deals in the in for Marvel Comics. Interestingly, because Sal and John, they both had similar art styles, but they were distinctly different. They were both, but they were reminiscent of each other.
Well,
It's sad.
before we go back to talking about the Night of Seven Kingdoms, I'll raise a
Mhm.
glass to Sal.
Yeah.
Thanks for the memories.
Thanks. Put this
So one of the things I had to look up though was to see when the Night of the Seven Kingdoms takes place,
right.
and it's right between House of the Dragon and um uh what you call it Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like 90 years before Game of Thrones, I think, and like
Mm-hmm.
whatever after uh House of the Dragon.
Correct.
Um but so yeah, it's
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's a
give it a few
little.
episodes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about it yet, but I'm gonna give it a few episodes. Um,
You're such a picky bitch. I swear.
we'll just wait till we start talking about Starfleet Academy.
I know.
Um, so but anyway, Wonder Man premieres today. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Even
They're
though,
dropping the entire season all at once too.
which tells me they may not have a lot of faith in it.
The thing is,
Um,
though, it's gotten some pretty good like initial reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it got a pretty good um initial review here. I'm gonna find it.
Wonder Man is a he's a superhero that's also a
Movie star,
movie star.
actor.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Simon Williams. Um, he was actually a founding member of the West Coast Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He was
he-
an early recruit of the original Avengers too.
was
Like
he? I
early,
didn't. Okay.
he was one of the
Um,
the earlier ones.
yeah, he
Let's see.
um
He's got it's got a 90%
huh,
on Rotten Tomatoes. That's certified fresh. So we'll see what the popcorn meter does after it premieres in the next, today, I guess, or tomorrow.
it's
Wait, it's
today.
the 27th. So yeah, today. Um, but it's got 90%. Apparently it's very self-referential. It's very kind of makes fun of itself and it makes fun of the idea, of the Marvel universe a little bit. And I think that's something that they could kind of use. I mean, they tried doing that a bit with She-Hulk, but I think um, people didn't enjoy the like how she talked to the camera. I
The
don't think
breaking
they
the
quite,
fourth wall type of
yeah,
thing.
the
Yeah.
break the fourth wall. I don't think they quite liked She-Hulk as a character too. I think a lot of because there were a lot of like fanboys and a lot of dude bros that just were not about her. Um, but I think this is could potentially go pretty well. Also, the fact that you got, Ben Kingsley returning as Trevor Slattery, which he's kind of a fan favorite. People really get a kick out of that character
Yeah.
from
I
Iron
still
Man
think he would
3.
have been better as the actual Mandarin. But um
Mm.
anyway, so if you don't know Wonder Man, he's got super strength.
Hmm.
He's near invulnerable. He's kind of a Superman-esque type of
Sure.
character in his power set. Um Not as powerful as the Kryptonian,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't put him at Superman level, but he's pretty
yeah,
powerful.
yeah, but he's got a similar power set to
Hmm.
Superman.
Super strength and vulnerability. He didn't originally fly on his own. Originally,
Yeah, he had like little jets.
he had jets that he used to wear. Um,
You do
but
energy
they were
projection too,
powered by
can't he?
his own power though, because he's ionically powered, I guess.
Yeah,
Which I don't know exactly what that means. It's just kind of a form of energy in the Marvel universe. And then so that and he is basically a being of ionic energy.
I
And
didn't realize he was a guardian of the galaxy at one point.
for a little while, he was a guardian of the galaxy. He was a guardian of the galaxy in the far future, not in the current, not in the early, like because he's essentially immortal as well. But yeah, in the '90s comics, the late '80s and '90s comics, he was one of those guys that was kind of
Yeah,
brought into the team
Nathan
later.
Fillion made a big push to be made to play Wonder Man
Yeah,
a while back, and then they
yeah,
went
and
a different direction. So
it was
he went
interesting
and
too
played Guy
because
Gardner instead.
he started off like the character itself in the comics started off as a business owner and scientist that had fallen on hard times. His business was dying. His brother had gotten into some criminal activity, so he volunteered to go under an experiment from a supervillain to be given superpowers so that he could infiltrate and destroy the Avengers from the inside. And because of this supervillain, and basically Simon was just like, I'm trying to help my brother. I don't know what to do, and he ends up turning on the villain at the end and dying due for his efforts. I think it was Baron Zemo, and it was one of there's the Masters of Evil, and yeah, gave him his super abilities and stuff, and I mean, they buried him and had a funeral, and then he ends up coming back to life because he's not a normal human. And later on, he ended up fully joining the Avengers. And he
It was Zemo that offered him
was
his
it Zemo?
yeah.
Cool. His
After
brain patterns.
after his bail was paid by Amora the Enchantress.
Aha, of course. Um, his brain patterns were used as the base for the Vision's brain patterns. So they consider each other brothers. The Vision was notoriously was known to be in and have a relationship and be in love with Wanda, with the Scarlet Witch, which we saw expressed in the MCU. And then later on, when Wanda and the Vision broke
Oh,
up in the comics, then she ended up going for Simon Williams. And Simon has
I
long been
get
in
it.
love with her as well.
So I
He's
see.
got a very
So yeah,
complicated career.
he was a business owner and stuff, and his rival was Stark,
Ah,
and
okay, that
that's
was
why he wanted to destroy the Avengers because Stark
sure.
funded the Avengers.
So he's been dead and resurrected a few times. His powers have changed to like now he can also take on a more ionic energy form where he can fly and stuff. He um he became a pacifist at one point. Like he got completely fed up. He still is considered a pacifist. He got completely fed up with the superhero game and was like, I am no longer going to fight supervillains, and started instead being a like part of a recovery team. So like, he would
All
go
right.
in and kind of help people
So
rebuild. He also got into acting. That was
yeah,
the other thing. After in the '70s, when they kind of reestablished him as a character, he was like, you know what? I don't want to run a business anymore. I don't want to be I want to be an actor. And so then he became like this actor type.
so Darius had a couple questions. One,
Yeah.
how's he different to the bloke in the Eternals that was a Bollywood star?
Well, that guy's an alien, and this guy is human. And he's not. That guy was also like immortal essentially, and although Simon Williams is probably immortal, We don't know that yet in the MCU.
Yeah. So
So
also, do the Avengers make fun of him for just doing movies instead of fighting Thanos? And
no, I mean,
so,
they kind of encouraged it because, I mean, almost all of those characters have lives outside of being superheroes. Captain America, not so much. I mean, some of them not as much, like Hawkeye or Mockingbird or some of those other characters would end up, if they weren't being Avengers, they're being secret agents and spies or whatever. Captain America for a while tried to maintain a life and a job as a commercial artist. I mean, it ended up a lot of these characters ended up being, particularly Avengers, just kind of become professional superheroes, and God only knows how they pay their bills. But I think actually they established that they are actually paid a stipend as an Avenger through the Maria Stark Foundation. But Simon Williams was just trying. He was trying to be an actor when he wasn't a superhero, and they did do a racial shift on this for this character. He's white in the
yes.
comics. He's black in the show, but he's. It's not one of those things that's super intrinsic to the character. So of like what color he is. So, um, you know, cool, whatever.
Uh,
And the actor who's playing him is really awesome. In fact, if I remember correctly, I think he was the guy that played Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen.
Oh, is he?
So yeah. Uh, does it not serve basically the same concept? They're both immortal actors. I mean, like I said, again, Kingo had been around for hundreds of years already at that point, and then had to like he became an actor like at the beginning of movies, and then had to like basically kill himself off and then become his own son and that kind of thing. Kind of like what you'd think like any immortal has to deal with. Um, Simon Williams, we don't know he's an immortal yet. We just know, like we as comic book readers know he is because he shows up in the far-flung future 1,000 years from now.
Well, he
This
got
thing
pulled out
is
of time too at one point for that.
different things
So,
like that. So,
um,
um,
but anyway, we should move on. Because
yes,
we're already an hour and 10 in. So, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about real quick. So Shrinking or season 3 comes out tomorrow. If you're not watching that show, it's fucking awesome. It's Jason Segel, Brett Goldstein, Harrison Ford. Just it's a great cast. All the characters are awesome. It's a very funny show that also deals with some really heavy topics like the death of a spouse and trying to get past that as well. Also interacting with the person who killed your spouse in the car accident, things like that. Um, it really is a great show. Uh, Colby Smothers just came on at the end of last season. I think she's going to be a part of it this season.
no, I love her.
Michael J. Fox is going to be on it this season because Harrison Ford's character is dealing with Parkinson's disease. And so I think as part of they show him like in a doctor's office and Michael J. Fox is there. And I think Harrison Ford's character looks at him and says something like, "So what are you in for?"
Yeah, yeah.
um, but anyway, it's been just a phenomenal show. It's one of my favorite shows out there. That's on Apple. Um,
And Shrinking, yeah. I mean,
Drinking,
it's getting
yes.
a lot of really positive
Oh,
response.
it's so good, so fucking good. Um, I truly enjoy it. Anyway, we also had before we start talking about like Fallout and Starfleet, which I think is going to take most of the rest of the show.
Mhm.
We had a couple of big trailers. The Supergirl trailer came out while we were off, and we get to see our first look at Jason Momoa as Lobo. Which
Yeah, they did this week they released another short trailer that has a better shot of him.
yeah, but
That's like
he
like a
looks
really good shot of
amazing
him.
as
Yeah,
Lobo.
he looks
Um,
incredible.
I'm looking forward. I'm actually looking forward to this. I think to an extent. I mean, I think they're gonna they kind of still play up the crypto thing a little too much, even in the trailer, like him peeing
Um,
on the paper and stuff.
I think Crypto's going to probably be taken out because in the story, in the original story that it's based on, he gets poisoned, and part of the reason why she agrees to go on this like quest with this young alien girl is that she needs to find the cure
Well,
for
they show her
Crypto's poison.
like it looks like Crypto's sick, and she's sitting there really concerned, petting him.
Hmm
And
hmm
I'm like, okay, you can't kill Crypto off now. As big
No,
of a pain in the ass as he is, You can't kill him off.
No, he
Um,
won't be. He won't be.
but Mario Galaxy with Yoshi. Oh yeah, that's coming out too. Um,
Mhm. So I
oh
didn't see
great,
the first
Yoshi's
Mario.
here.
I didn't see the
Um,
first. Yeah, I didn't see the first Mario Brothers movie
I
yet,
did.
but I hear it's good. I heard it was
It
cute.
was it wasn't bad.
It's
It was
fun.
all right. Yeah. Um, anyway, we also got Daredevil Born Again season 2 trailer.
I did. Yeah, it came out today. I didn't get a chance
Yeah.
to see it yet. Hmm.
It looks interesting. We see Jessica Jones, we see Kingpin, we see Bullseye, we see Foggy.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm like, wait, how the fuck is Foggy there? And we watched Renee and I watched it again, and what it is, it looks like it's going to be a flashback because it
Okay.
looks like he's de-aged quite a bit.
Oh,
It
okay.
looks like a very young Foggy. Um, but it looks like it's going to be much more like what fans were, what people wanted for the first season. It's not going to be as much courtroom drama as it is going to be true Daredevil. And we also see him in his black costume.
Okay. Hmm.
The
See, I
the
I'm
black
not a big fan
costume
of that.
with the red DD.
I prefer the red outfit with the black accents. I think that's kind of part of who Daredevil, is best represented as. I mean, yes, he started off originally with red and yellow, but back when they first originally designed him. But when Frank Miller made him the all red outfit, it's just a much better
Oh,
design.
we also see Kingpin in a boxing ring
Okay.
wearing all white and white gloves, so when he's beating the fuck out of this guy and there's blood everywhere, it's just all over his gloves and stuff. Really shows
Okay.
off.
Hard to route for a lawyer to be. Yeah, that's true.
Root for a lawyer, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
there's only really two
but he's a
superhero
really good
lawyers.
lawyer.
Yeah, there's really only two superhero lawyers,
So
and that's
how'd you do that? I'm a really good
a
lawyer.
really good lawyer. That's Matt Murdock and um, Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk.
Yep.
So, I mean, and they're both good guy lawyers. I mean, they're both good at their jobs, and they're defense attorneys essentially. So, I guess if you're gonna have a heroic lawyer, those would be the ones to have.
She-Hulk will not be in it. Tatiana
No,
Maslany will not play She-Hulk again.
yeah, unfortunately, she's already said that she is done.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame because there was hopefully rumor of maybe seeing her in one of the new movies coming up.
And yes, Hulk did turn up with Scar. So,
What's that? Oh
uh,
yeah, She-Hulk did turn
well,
up
no,
with.
Hulk did. Banner did
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did. He showed up with. Yeah,
with Scar.
it's. So my guess is there are some storylines that they're just going to let go away, which is a
Maybe.
drag.
Yeah.
Because She-Hulk was a great, and Chris and I both, found She-Hulk to be very entertaining. It was a
I love
great
She-Hulk.
show.
I thought it was a
It was a
great
really
show.
good show.
The end was a little cheesy, but it was
Oh
very
yeah.
comic. It was very comic accurate. But
Hmm.
the whole Kevin thing I thought was hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, so that's all coming out. We get Daredevil season 2 March 24th. So not too far away. I'm
Hmm.
glad that somebody else liked it too, Darius. Darius said he liked quite
Good.
liked She-Hulk. Um,
Yeah.
she
She
could
could
twerk
twerk
good, right?
good.
Yeah, she the whole twerk episode. Anyway, Fallout. We can talk about that real quick.
Sure. Sure.
Fallout season 2. It's been pretty good. I don't know if I'd say it's as good as season 1 right now. I mean, there's been a lot of what feels like setup. Um, and you're just kind of waiting for what the payoff's going to be.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'd agree. There's a lot of there really are setting up a lot. I think,
Have a good
my
night,
guess is.
Darius.
Hey, good night, Darius. Thanks for hanging out, bro. And thanks for chiming into the
Yeah,
the chat and really, a lot of good questions. It was great.
get some sleep,
Um,
feel
I
better.
I do think that yes, we are um that there is a lot of setup. And I think there's going to be we're not going to have the big payoff at the end of this season that we are looking for. I think the big payoff is going to come in season 3. Um, if if they can survive it,
Yeah,
I mean, we saw at the end of this current episode, we saw, I mean, the ghoul is not looking great. He had started, freaking out and growling. He had took a lot of damage from
he couldn't
falling out of
reach it.
that
He couldn't reach
building.
his
Couldn't reach
vapes.
his
His vapes.
yeah. Um, you gotta, I guess, thank that super mutant for breaking him, and getting him cut down, and breaking that pole that he was on.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see the super mutant finally showing up. Um, I do like the fact that that we're seeing a lot of intrigue. I mean, we're
Now I'm
seeing
drinking milk.
it does a body.
It's
I
actually a
do.
Cutwater pina colada.
Oh, I see. I do like the fact that, like I said, there is a lot of intrigue, and that we're seeing like a lot of setup. We're seeing how things came about. How the war happened. I mean, it is very much a very distinct.
Lot of flashbacks.
Yes, a lot of flashbacks. It is a very distinct commentary on capitalism, and specifically, and Fallout always has been. The Fallout video games too are this massive, like,
It's unrestrained
commentary.
capitalism.
What's that?
Unrestrained capitalism.
Unrestrained capitalism, very much so. I mean, the fact that the United States isn't exactly doesn't look the way, like, if you look at the maps and stuff, like, the United States didn't exist in that game like it does today. I mean, there's a whole section of, like, the California Free Republic is California and several of the states over there. Um, that whole area. There's going up into Canada. There's part of Canada is actually part of that. And but yeah, as we see at the beginning of the most recent episode, where these people are presenting to Barbara, like, oh well, we know that the water the water chips are going to fail, but we'll
Yeah.
know which ones will fail. Like 30% of them are going to fail, so we'll know which ones are going to fail, so that you'll be able to use that information.
You'd
And
be
then they're
able to
talking about
choose who's not going to
choose which
survive.
ones, yeah,
Which is
because
why 1/3 of all. That's why the vaults were grouped in threes
right,
because one of them was set to fail. That's why the one had a drought
yeah.
and died off.
So yeah, the Weevil famine and whatnot too that they had. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, and the fact that that was it 32 or 33, 33, if they, because 31 was the one where where the middle management people were all frozen, and they would get unthawed and then be sent into one of the other
To
two,
be
32 or
supervisors.
33, the supervisors, to be supervisors. The 33 and 32 and 33 were basically breeding farms, from what I understand. They were breeding experiments. And
Inbreeding at that. But
yeah. Um,
kissing
but
cousins. It's the kissing cousins
God.
group.
No, the inbreeding support group or something like
Yes, the
that, I think is what it
inbreeder
was.
support group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had like a
Um,
kissing cousins thing on the wall too. It's
was that Ron Perlman?
I
That
don't know.
could have been.
I don't know. I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, the gore bags, the death claws. I mean, it was like the death claws were great. They looked amazing. Um, the detail level is really cool, but I just seeing these people present to Barbara like as just matter of fact part of, like, they're defining and deciding the lives of billions of people. And then when Cooper later confronts Barbara with the information he has, and then thankfully they gave her an out by showing that the doctor that in the first season that had created the cold fusion was actually also a remnant from before the war. He had probably been frozen and unfrozen somehow, and it gave her an out, showing that maybe she's not the monster that we've all been led to believe, because she was the one that had said, you know,
Nice, Wicked.
maybe if we drop the bomb. What? Wicked Kender. I met him once at a convention. He had really soft hands when I shook it. Who's Wicked Kender again? Just somebody that knew.
Oh,
I had the same
Wicked's been on.
experience.
Wicked's been on a few times.
I know, but um, I'm just wondering if we know Wicked Kender in person, because I had the same experience when I shook the hand of what's his name that played Chewbacca. He had very, very soft hands, like surprisingly. It was like
Peter Mayhew.
off-putting how soft. Peter Mayhew, yeah, it was off-putting how soft his hands were. Like, wow. Um, I've popped in. Yeah, I know you popped in before, Weekenders. Just sometimes we do it. We have some people on here that we also know in person. So I don't know if it was somebody you've we've met in person. I was an escalator behind him. My head came to his butt. Peter Mayhew's or Ron Perlman? Because I mean, Ron Perlman's a big guy, but I don't know unless you're particularly small, Kender. Um,
Um,
so anyway, I've just been really, really enjoying it. But I think you're right. I don't think we're going to get quite the big payoff we'd like to have at the end of season two. I think they want to probably they're going to push this to at least season three, and then we'll
yeah.
see some kind of resolution in
CD,
season
I
three.
would so love a Zero Dawn
Oh man, it
fucking
would be,
show.
but it would be stunningly expensive to make as a
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. I don't care. I want it.
Sure. I mean, if they can make Last of Us and they can make um Game of Thrones, they can make
And Fallout and stuff.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
They can make Horizon Zero.
Yeah. A
Make an
Horizon
animation.
series
I
would
would
be
even take an
awesome.
animated series.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think that might even be probably better, like a high-end animated series. Absolutely. Um, it would probably definitely be less expensive, but I mean, the
I
the
once went on a Starbucks coffee run for Starbucks OG Battlestar Galactica. Nice.
I think Wicked Kender has worked the convention circuit. I think you've spent some time working at cons because I have also been a wrangler or a handler for some people. The uh Horizon, I mean there's two games and some DLC in three really if you count the VR game. There's a lot. They've built up a lot of lore about that. I think it would definitely make for an awesome show. Um,
um, yeah, I think it would too. But anyway, so I'm still enjoying Fallout. Not as much this season as I was last season, but close to Atlanta. Went to several Dragon Cons before they went really huge. Dragon Con
oh,
is one of the places I want to go someday. It's
yeah,
up there. It's number 2 behind San Diego Comic Con.
I would like to go to Dragon Con someday too. It usually
It's Labor
falls
Day weekend.
yeah, usually it falls during Ren Fair season, so it's
Yeah.
kind of hard for me to take that time off.
But anyway, so moving on from Fallout, let's talk about um Star Trek 90210. I mean Starfleet Academy, which
Are you
is
caught up?
Stardate 90210. Um
The third episode?
now we watched the third one.
It's the
Was that
one where they get into a prank war
Yeah,
with
yeah, we did watch that one.
okay.
Yeah. The show is I've got a couple of issues with it. One, it is way too fucking angsty. Um and two, I have the same problem with this show that I have with um what you call it? Discovery. In that the main character is a constant rule breaker and has no repercussions for it.
Okay. Okay.
I
Fair
don't
enough.
like that about Star Trek. Um I did see one thing in this last episode where they show like all the cadets and everything standing there, and there's one from Charon, and I was reading some things. Now, I was not a big fan of the original series. I knew that
The black and white
yeah, the
character?
black and
Yeah.
white, yeah. I knew that that was from the original series. What I didn't realize is that they're like the only two left of their race.
They were
It,
supposed to be, yeah, I
yeah,
think
and
so.
then there was like one more that was a survivor somewhere in one of the later series, I guess. They ran into him, but yeah, so this person was like, how the fuck is this person there? Is that there?
Well,
This
there's
is
also been
this is a problem with people that are running this show are not Star Trek fans. They don't
see
understand the history of Star Trek.
see I don't know. I think I mean I'll agree with that to some extent, but I also think that that's not entirely accurate. I think they're trying. they were throwing in a lot of like Easter eggs for people because they think people are going to be like, oh, that's cool. They put that character in, they put this character in there. But what I think that there a lot of them they're trying to do is this is set yeah, like 800 years after Picard. So it's the galaxy has changed a lot. So the idea is that they're trying to leave a lot open to for people to interpret. Like one of the best examples is Lura. I think her name's Lura Thok. She's the Klingon Jem'Hadar hybrid. Now people were making the big stink because they're like, well, the Jem'Hadar didn't have females. They were all genetically male, and they came from like, you know, a dozen different bloodlines, but they were all genetically created by the founders to be, male super soldiers, essentially soldiers to fight their wars. And and people are like have thrown a big fit because her mother was a Jem'Hadar and her father was a Klingon.
No, it's
Now,
actually the other way around. She says it in this one. Her mother's Klingon.
was it her mother was Klingon?
Her mother's Klingon.
Because I had heard that it was the other way because people were griping
In this last
because
episode, she talks about her mother teaching her Klingon ways.
oh, okay. Well, that's the thing though. People were making a big stink originally because they're like, um, well, there are no female Jem'Hadar, and people were like, 800 years in the future, who knows? They could have evolved. They could have had to develop. They were a cloned race. They could have had to continue on their race. Their maybe cloning wasn't working anymore, so they had to start. They had to
And
start like actual, had to create a female so they could actually create, propagate their species naturally as opposed to cloning. It's a science fiction show. There's so many different ways to explain that shit off. You have to be open to the idea that new writers are going to come in and they're going to do new shit. And as long as it's still within the spirit of of Star Trek, then I'm okay with it. Like there are some people that
I
are having a big problem because like in the latest episode, one of the characters was um she looked like a Vulcan or a you had a Vulcan who was standing there had no emotions, they're like, we will continue to prank you
yeah,
because it is fun. And then the girl
one's a
next to him
Vulcan, one's a
was a
Romulan.
Romulan.
Yeah,
That was an easy because somebody, oh, they made Vulcans have emotions now. No, that's a Romulan. The Romulans and the Vulcans have united. Some are still going the Vulcan way, and some are doing the Romulan way, and some are coming somewhere in the middle. And as we saw from the character on Discovery, that ended up marrying, um, um, what's his name? Jesus. The alien that was a
Saru.
captain on Discovery. Saru, thank you.
Yeah,
The Vulcan that ended up marrying Saru was like she was one of those that kind of fell in the middle of the unified Vulcan Romulan culture. Um,
so so some of the other things you brought up the Easter eggs, and I think they're going a little too far with those in some of the things.
mhm.
I think the constant use of the exocomp um on the ship
I,
is ridiculous.
I thought that was a
Um,
cool callback, but I don't think it needs to be in every episode.
um, the which by the way it does have a name. It's almond something because
Oh,
peanut hamper wasn't enough. So
yeah,
um
Yura Thok is her name. So yeah, that's
uh
funny.
I also so they also created a new race for this one.
They've
Uh,
created a couple actually. Yeah.
Genesis is a whole new race.
hmm
Um,
She's from Royal Oak originally.
is she?
Yeah.
I actually like her character.
hmm I like her a
The
lot. I think she would have probably been a better fit for like the star of the show, the lead of the show, as opposed to, you know, what's his name? Chase,
Caleb.
Caleb. Um, but we are seeing it is a bit of an ensemble. Yeah, he is the lead, but I think she's a pretty
So
strong
I like
ensemble
Genesis
together.
and I like the Klingon. Um,
Yes.
I really like the
Yes.
Klingon because he's not traditional Klingon. He's not
No.
the batleth wielding I want battle, glory and
Yeah, he's a
battle.
pacifist. He wants
Yeah,
to be a medic. He wants to be
yeah,
a doctor.
yep.
I think that's cool as fuck.
Um, but another thing though is okay, the captain doesn't like to wear shoes. All right, that's fine. But I think someone on that writing staff has a fucking foot fetish. The amount of times that she's putting her feet up on things and they're showing off how much she doesn't wear shoes. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, I am not into feet. You can stop that shit.
sure. Yeah, she was wearing like little chainmail
Those I thought were
like
cool.
things.
And that's
Yeah.
fine. But she's
Well, it's
constantly
her.
putting her feet up.
We're also seeing the captain a lot more because she's not like on a ship all the time commanding. We're seeing her in her private quarters a lot. So we're seeing her in casual dress a bit more than we
It
see
doesn't
like the
matter because she shows
captains.
up to other things without fucking boots on
No, no,
too.
I agree. I'm just saying that we're seeing her in casual dress probably more than we've seen a lot of other captains.
But
A
it's
little
just
bit
the
more.
constantly putting her feet up on the desk or on the chair and
Okay.
showing it and like putting her feet out towards the camera like this. It's like I'm like, I don't need that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but I think it's kind of funny that she sits like a cat. Like even in the captain's chair, she's sitting in the captain's chair like
And she
with
she
her
tucks her
her
feet
knee
up.
up
Yeah.
like this and she's just I mean, Holly Hunter is a small woman and so she can kind of fit in these chairs like a child. And I think I saw an interview with her that one of the reasons why she does that is because she is a very long-lived person who's lived a very extensive life, had a lot of life experiences, and so she kind of enjoys her creature comforts, and so she was kind of um I think she was kind of like expressing through the character. There's like when it comes to things like a comfortable chair, she really lounges in it. She really enjoys that kind of
Yeah, she
thing.
does. Yes, she
Which
does. CD. She sits like an
I'm
adolescent.
I'm
Um,
like I'm okay with that
I
kind if that's what she wants to do, but as long as when she's needs to be a captain, she's a fucking captain,
so
and I think
I
that we
also
have seen that.
I also have this whole thing about the War College versus
Mm,
Starfleet Academy. I don't like that
yeah,
either.
I'm not a big
That
fan of that either.
especially with the animosity that the War College seems to have towards Starfleet. I think that it goes so against what
Yeah,
Starfleet always stood for
right.
that I understand. Okay, they Earth needed that.
So it's Starfleet
It,
Academy and the Federation War College, I believe is what they are.
is that what it is?
I think that's what it is, and then they're sharing a campus essentially, because I think the
Yeah.
War College had been there, and it was where they were training their soldiers and stuff, or because I think it existed during the burn, and it was kind of what replaced a lot of
Well,
on
it was
Earth.
to protect the Federation, and I
Right, exactly.
understand that.
What was the
Yeah.
local federation
Yeah.
because they couldn't really
Yeah.
travel and yeah. And so now the Starfleet Academy has come in because they're trying to reignite Starfleet and so we're seeing a combination of the
So
two.
also, um, and I know they did it it's done to create drama, but so um when the Betazoids come in
Hmm.
and they do that whole thing and they're making the agreement and the president of Betazed's two kids decide they're going to stay. One goes to Starfleet, one goes to the War College.
Hmm.
Why the fuck would the super hypersensitive can read so many emotions has to have an
Has
inhibitor
to have a
on her
dampener.
throat?
Hmm.
Why the fuck would she choose the War College?
She explained it in the episode in the third episode because Caleb confronts her about it and she explains it. I can't remember why.
I don't remember
She
why it was. I think she
But
did say something, but
she did lay it out like she explained it, and I can't remember what it was.
uh,
My bad on that.
the burn is one of the dumbest things in Star Trek history, I think, CD.
Yeah, I
One
wasn't the
alien
biggest
had a
fan.
fucking temper tantrum and blew up the entire universe. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that either. I would have liked if you wanted to have something like the burn, fine. Suddenly, for 100 years or whatever it is, nobody can use warp travel. at least they can't travel using dilithium crystals, and because that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
some sort of connection to the dilithium crystals. But the fact that a it was one being, it was
One being
one
having a
being.
temper tantrum.
Essentially, that was what it was, and he was one of Saru's race too.
Yeah.
I was like in the far future, I did not care for that at all. Um, I I wasn't. I didn't have a problem with the concept of rolling, of the
No, it wasn't a
Federation
Q.
basically.
It was just a guy.
Yeah, it was just a dude that had some sort of ability to resonate with on a subspace level with dilithium, and he basically caused dilithium to explode all over the galaxy. And they could still use it to some extent. You could still use dilithium to power your ship,
You just couldn't use
but
it
you
to
couldn't use it to
hit
go to
warp.
warp
Yep.
because it could
Yeah.
cause your that it wasn't a guarantee because they also didn't know why the burn
Yeah.
happened.
Basically,
So
anytime he had a temper tantrum, which is about once a day, um, he
I don't think it was that quite that often, but it
if
was
you were
just the
in warp,
idea
it would
though.
blow up your ship.
Right. It was just the idea of if you went into warp, you didn't know if you were going to come out or not.
Mm-hmm.
So because it happened, it happened and it happened
It's
enough
very bad writing,
times.
in my opinion. See, very bad.
I agree. I did not like that element of Discovery. I thought that I was glad when they figured it out because before they did, yeah,
I thought
Discovery was the only ship that could get around town.
I thought a lot of Discovery was poor writing. Just that they set it in the time frame before um the original series, but gave them a ship that is
Leaps and bounds
centuries
ahead of,
beyond what
yeah.
was technology for that time.
I
And then they
do like
then they then they bring in the Red Angel, and it's Michael's mom and shit, and they follow her into the far fucking future. Um, and it just I think the whole concept of that show just went off the fucking rails from the beginning. And I still to this day say that Michael is the most unlikable main character that has ever been in a show. Um,
I don't know about that. I mean, there's some pretty bad main characters if you want to, in the grand scheme of television. But I do feel like in Star Trek, she was probably the least likable show lead. Um, and honestly, CD, you really want to watch some good prequel Star Trek. I mean, Enterprise was a lot better than a lot of people gave it credit for. Yes, it
read
had at
alert,
least one.
read alert.
It gave at least one season. There was at least one season that was harder to get through because it was during a writer's strike. But overall, as seen as a
I
whole, I think that show
I
definitely
enjoyed
deserves another
Enterprise
watch.
for when I watched it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I only watched the first couple of seasons, but um I
It
enjoyed it
ended
when I was
well.
watching it, except for the the getting beat over the head with the prime directive stick over and over and over again. I'm like,
Sure.
okay, we get it. That this is everything they're doing in one season, in like in like a 1 year span, is going to lead to the prime directive, because they're going to make every fucking mistake every single time that causes
Well, they
them
were
to go to the
trying to,
prime directive.
they
It
were
just
trying to encourage, like, push the idea that they were learning. They were new
and
out in
I
space.
understand that, but you don't have to break the prime directive every fucking episode to show
Hmm.
that, oh, this is why the prime directive's in place. You don't need to do it all the goddamn time.
Sure.
And it's excessive. Give me just some good stories. You don't have to beat me over the head with the prime directive stick.
Sure. I think that was one of the things that Discovery suffered from was the fact that they were really trying to push the boundaries of Star Trek. They were trying because it had been the first time we had had a Star Trek show in quite a while. It had been like 5, 6, 8 years or something like that since Enterprise had gone off the air. We hadn't had a Star Trek show for quite a while, and then they were like, let's do something new. And and they tried too hard. That's what the first season really kind of showed. They were like, we're going to take Star Trek into a new generation, and we're going to do a whole new thing. Okay, guys, that's cool. Do that, but don't overdo it. And they overdid it. That's why we had
Don't
Klingons
fuck
that
it
looked the
up.
way they did.
Yeah.
That's why we had a starship that was beyond the idea of any of the technology that, I mean, granted, I wasn't mad at the fact that they said it pre Kirk. That was okay with me. But
Yeah.
the fact that they made the ship so much more
Than
highly advanced,
anything
a
we'd seen
teleporting
all the way up
ship.
to that point,
Right.
which I mean, next gen and DS9 and stuff, that's
Hmm.
all, what, 100 years after the original series?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not quite, I don't think, but it's in that range.
It
So,
was something like 90 years from from the start of the original Star Trek to the start
yeah, it's like 90
of
years.
Next
Yeah.
Generation.
Yeah.
So this would have been about and Discovery is about 10, supposed to be about 10 years before when the start of Discovery
Well,
is about 10 years, 10
12
to
years,
12
12 years
years
before.
before Kirk takes
Yep.
takes the ship. So um so yeah, about 100 years, give or take. And so yeah, I didn't like that either. I thought that that was like, guys, what are you doing? A ship that can just work around warp drive and just essentially teleport using fungus, using mushrooms, a mycelial network. I mean, that whole concept was like, oh, guys. I mean, if we had never had warp drive, if we had never had any of that shit before, okay, maybe. But they went too far afield. And so then they tried to correct. If you watch the second season, substantially better. They go back to they tried to fix the Klingons. They were like, okay, these Klingons had cut off all their hair because they were at war, and this was a different clan or different type of Klingon than the Klingons you're used to. So then when you started seeing Klingons again in later episodes and in Strange New Worlds, they looked more like the Klingons we were used to. Um, Things like that. They tried to correct, and they did make some pretty substantial changes in the second season because they did see that the first season was too much, too fast, too hard. But unfortunately, they had already established a lot of what they had already established, so they couldn't backtrack too much. Plus, the creators of the show didn't want to, Um, I think Discovery, for the most part, ended okay. It was not the best Star Trek, but it was a pretty. It kind of corrected itself at the end. Although I will say that the end of the show's scavenger hunt to get to the end of
That yeah,
what they
that was a
got,
little
it
much
was a
too.
little much. But I think the show ended on a decent note, and we got Strange New Worlds out of it. Strange New Worlds was how to do a modern Star Trek set in a previous time well.
Yes.
We
I think
have
Strange New Worlds
perfect.
is 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 Star Trek perfection in my
Yeah.
book.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
really,
it's
really good.
really well
Now,
done.
I also feel like for different reasons, the final season of Picard was too sweet. Perfect. It was so much fun. Yes,
It was a lot of member berries.
a lot of memorabilia, a lot of nostalgia. They were banking on nostalgia, but it was a blast. It was it was fun. It was Picard and the guys out for one last hurrah, and it left us with a potential for a new show that could be really cool, that could have that flavor of the new with the flavor of the old and mixed together in a good way with Seven of Nine as the captain. I was so here for that. With truly another generation with Geordie's kids and Picard and Beverly's kid, and you know, you want to talk about another like
He was set up to be
potential.
a new Kirk.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. He would have been Picard's son, but he would have been more like Kirk. He also would have been one of those rule breaking types that would probably, was rushed through Starfleet Academy so that he could be, an officer and a junior officer on that ship and watch him fuck up. And, and grow as a character. Now, I really hope we eventually see this still, but who knows? There's also been talk that Starfleet Academy has been okayed for its second season already. Before the first season even premiered, the producers were like, the studio was like, "Yep, second season." Now, with all of the things that are going on with Paramount still trying to buy Netflix, there's been a complete hold on all Star Trek production and talk about future production. Although I have heard somewhere that uh, Paramount may have given the guy that is running, the guy that's running Star Trek right now, that said like, we'll probably stop at season 2 on this Academy show. I still feel that Academy has potential. We'll see what the rest, because they're still, I think actually they have shot the whole first season. But if they've been approved for a second season, they'll probably take into account the things that people are unhappy with, and they'll make some tweaks for the second season. Personally, I think Robert Picardo returning as the Doctor has been cute. I mean,
I think it's
we'll
awful.
see. He
I think
hasn't
that's
been.
awful, and I think the fact that there's a holographic cadet is also awful,
Why though?
because holograms are not fucking people.
The Doctor, it was
They're
established
not a
in a
fucking
previous
race.
episode. It was established that he is a life form.
That's
Why
fine, but
wouldn't
they're fucking programmed. They don't need to go to school.
True, yes, but they are learning programs. They're AI. They're essentially just an AI. A hologram is the same, is essentially a futuristic version of Data, of an android. They're just made
And
out
there
of
were
light
lots of
and
problems
force
with
fields.
data too. A lot of
Yes, there
people had
was.
problems with data. I have
But
problems with
a,
I have problems with the holograms. I just think I think
almost
it's
a
a
thousand
gimmick.
years
I
into
think
the
it's a
future,
dumb gimmick. And I don't see that as
I
being
think
something that should.
ultimately she's a Deus Ex Machina that's got superpowers that they can utilize for later. She's going to have super strength when they need her to have super
Yes,
strength. She's going to be able to
CD.
walk through walls when
You
she needs to
you,
walk through
you should
walls.
have. I'm sure we've been on for a long enough. You should know that about Russ.
The biggest vendor defender ever,
Yeah, you
but they
defend.
blow bubbles and
Basically you defend. You defend everything. You are super easy on tape
I,
movies. You are super easy on Star Trek.
I'm easy answer. I am a big fan of Star Trek. I'll
If
be the
you're a
first
fan of
person.
something, you are a super defender of it. You will take it and just love it, and that's fine if you love
No,
it. I
I have
don't,
agreed with you on a number of things about this. I mean, I do think it has some problems. I just am softer on it than you. You're harder on things than I am, and I'm a little softer, particularly on these things that I like. Yes, the I'm not a huge fan of Sam, but I also don't see why you've got such a big problem out of it. She's an AI. She's an android, just like Data. She's made out of light beams and or light and force fields
and
instead of
I just think
being.
it's dumb. I think it's a dumb concept for a character, and one, she's annoying as fuck. Um,
That's more.
they're
I'm not a
playing her
big fan
really
of
dumb
that.
and naive, and I hate that.
Okay,
Um,
and I'll
because
buy
she's
that. I'm not a
because
big
she's
fan.
an AI, she should be programmed with basic skills even if they didn't want to give her everything and let her learn, they have
Mm-hmm.
to give her basic skills, and she doesn't
Sure.
even seem to have that. Um, but
I
anyway, I'm
I
gonna
do
give it some
like.
more.
Yeah. At least
Uh,
give it a little more time, I think. I do like some of these other things, though. I wanted to chime in real quick. I do like how Daram Raimi, the kind of the jockey dickhead that was shown up in the first episode that rooms with Caleb.
mhm.
I like how they're already softening him a little bit. We've seen in the third episode, because at first he's just like, he's just this entitled asshole. We're starting to show, like in the third episode, we see him softening up a
I'll
little
take
bit.
the bullet for you, CD.
Maybe he's not quite the asshole we think he is. He's obviously under a lot of stress with his parents. I do like the development of Genesis. I think, her being, then talk about her dad being an admiral, and so she's under a lot of stress to to perform. Um I think Caleb is a bit of a cliche with he's, oh, Mr. Tough Guy
Yeah.
that had a really rough
Now his mom is
upcoming,
Titania Maslany, so
which we will probably see again at some point, which I'm excited about. Um, so I am a little tired of the like rebel for rebel's sake. I'm a big fan of Jaden Krang, the Klingon. I'd love to see them developing him
I
further
honestly
because
hate that his name's Jaden though, because that's such a just cliched name for.
sure, I suppose. I want to see. I would love to see him. It'll probably also be a bit of a bit of a cliche. Probably his father is going to show up and is going to be like this big Klingon warrior that wishes his son was more like him. But what would be really awesome is if his parents were also pacifists, and he's not like rebelling against his family. He's actually trying to follow in his family's footsteps. He's trying to be a scientist or a doctor or something like that.
Yeah.
That Klingons aren't particularly known for. But it was established in previous shows that they did have doctors and lawyers and cooks and performers. Like Klingons come from a warrior race, but not all of them are warriors. Not all of
Yeah.
them are necessarily Klingon warriors that must
You know,
die to go to
no,
Tovakor.
they
Whatever.
have not said 6'7". Didi.
Oh,
And you
my
know what?
Lord.
I don't have a problem with the kids that are saying 6'7" and all that, because you know what? Chicken butt,
You know why?
chicken thigh.
Chicken thigh. Yeah, that's stupid shit.
It's this
Um,
kind of dumb shit we said.
yeah. Every time I hear Stephen Colbert, I get a little chuckle on the show. It's usually kind of silly, something silly that they throw in.
But anyway,
Um,
so I wanted to talk about one thing else before we get out of here because we're getting late.
okay.
One of the things,
Oh, and Tig Notaro, she's awesome.
oh,
Sorry.
Tig
Go
Notaro is
ahead.
awesome. Now the fact that she's actually with,
Laura Thok.
yeah, Laura
Yeah,
Thok.
now that was fucking cool.
Yeah. Renee was like,
Fucking
I
cool.
love that. I love
That
that
was
for
great.
them.
That
That's
was great.
just their interaction in that was actually probably the highlight of that episode,
Yeah,
I
and
think.
she
Just,
called her kitten or something.
yeah,
Like,
and like was talking about like dinner and
yeah.
you know,
We are not having turducken because you have forgotten to
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, kitten. Let's go out to eat. Would you like Chinese? French.
Yeah. um but anyway, so I wanted to bring this up because I want to know if this is going to get you back into Magic, Russ.
What? Yeah.
They're coming out with Marvel Commander decks.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm still kind of that feeling that I was talking to Paulie today, and he says I need to come to one of the Magic nights, and I said to him, I'm like, dude, I don't have I'd have to borrow somebody's deck because my cards are all old, and I don't,
Yeah, you don't have
whatever.
a Commander deck, and that's what we
And
play.
he's like, I got decks, man. You can come over.
I got decks. I got decks, dude. I just bought a new deck today that I want to
just
check
feel
out.
like Magic. I feel like Magic the Gathering should be fantasy. I just have this,
And they call it the Worlds Beyond, I think is what they're calling them.
Mhm.
When they get outside of that. So there's like Fallout ones and Warhammer ones and things like that. Well, but they're coming out with 4 Marvel decks. And they've actually announced who the commanders are for all of them. Originally, I was seeing that it was going to be the Fantastic Four, and each one was going to be one of the Fantastic Four as a commander. That's not the case. Now, one of the decks is the Fantastic Four deck, and any one of the Fantastic Four can actually act as commander. That deck is going to be white, blue, green, red, and green. So that could be interesting. The one, though, I think that you're going to be most interested in is the Avengers Assemble deck.
Okay.
It's a red, white, and blue deck. So guess who the
Of course.
commander is?
Of course it is. Captain America.
Yep, Captain America. And Nick Fury's also in it.
Of
And I
course,
think he can be
okay.
an alternate commander. Then there's the Wakanda Forever deck, which is going to be a white and green deck. And Black Panther, of course, is the commander in that, and it's using the Monarch feature, which is something newer. It's kind of interesting. The one I'm actually looking forward to the most, I think, though, is the Doom Prevails deck, which is blue, black, and red.
Okay.
It's actually Doctor Doom and Loki are going
Hmm.
to be the two kind of co-commanders in that one.
Okay.
So I am probably going to buy all four of these decks.
Of course you are. I'll probably come out one of these nights and I'll probably play. I would take me a while to get used to it and
Oh,
stuff,
dude,
but
I'm still asking questions. I'm like, what does this do? Because I'll like pull one of my
yeah,
cards. I'm like, if I play this, what does this mean? Oh, it's this. I'm like, okay, that's right. Like, I always have to like menace. Okay, that means it can't be blocked by less than two people or by two creatures. Okay. Uh,
there is a lot of extra like rules
mm-hmm.
that have been done now. So, um, yeah, again,
$300
it's
cards CD. I've got some that are $700 cards from my
I'm
old
sure
days.
that I was telling Polly, like, I'm sure that in my collection, the majority of it just because it's old doesn't necessarily, just like anything, just because it's old doesn't mean it's valuable.
Nope.
I'm
Most
sure
of
I
your
have the
collection is
majority,
probably worth less than $1
sure,
per
but
card.
I'll bet I have some gems in there
Mm-hmm.
that probably are worth a decent amount.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Let's go
and
through your shit. Let's get
Polly was
together
like, I get
sometime.
first dibs. And I'm like, all
Yeah,
right.
let's get together sometime. Well, Polly wants to like trade me for my dual lands, a bunch of my dual lands.
Yeah.
Um, but let's get together sometime. You can make mashed potatoes because I still haven't had your
Really good mashed
like
potatoes.
get you laid mashed potatoes. I guarantee you they're not going to get you laid.
No,
Um,
not
but
that time.
uh, but we can go through we can sit around, go through your magic cards. We'll look at what you got. I've got an idea of what some of the more valuable ones are because I've been going through mine and seeing.
Hmm.
So and what's funny is the more recent printings of some of the cards are actually worth more than the old like beta and um like second and third edition
Okay.
cards. It's really weird because like I'll get like a ding. So I got an app that I can scan them, and I'll be scanning and I'll get like a ding. I'm like, oh, cool, and then I'll realize,
Yeah.
oh wait, that's a $5 card. All right, oh wait, that's not the right edition. Here, wait, let me bring up the right edition. This is third
Red edition
edition.
is,
This is
oh,
this
it's
is
30
this.
cents.
And
Great. Yeah.
yeah, oh, it's 30 cents. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
They're also coming out with another Strixhaven set. They're coming out with 5 new Strixhaven um
Well,
ones.
speaking of
So
magic, we also did hear about that Hasbro is in some deep
oh
trouble.
yeah.
Hasbro is in some deep trouble. Apparently, they've been robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yep.
They are their uh, stockholders are actually suing them because they're not suing Hasbro itself, but suing the CEO and whatnot because
And the
they've been
board, I
lying.
think.
The board, yeah, the whole board, or the board is suing them or something. I can't remember, but there is some kind of talk about that because they've been lying about about what's been going on and what's been going on with the
I have an
company
TD, I'll come
and
back to that.
how they have been operating. What they were doing every time is like a big Magic because Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast actually has been like three-quarters of their profit for the last few years. Hasbro still puts out toys and games, but but Wizards of the Coast and honestly Dungeons and Dragons have been big money cash cows for them. And so what they would be doing, they'll put out a big a new line of magic cards. It'll sell, and they'll use the money from that to basically, pay off other things that they're supposed to be paying off. They've also been. I read an article about this just yesterday. They've also been like, I guess, under under expressing the amount of like the sales of some of these magic cards. Like they maybe overprinted some of these editions, or they're not selling quite as much as they'd like. I mean, it's been profitable, but not as. They're in some deep shit, basically. So I was like, hell, maybe maybe they could be I don't know, maybe selling off some of their assets at some point. Wouldn't it be great if maybe Wizards of the Coast gets bought by a different company that's maybe less douchey? But then again, who knows? That would
Yeah.
be not great. You
So
know.
CD,
By
if
the way,
you,
it's Alex Kurtzman is the guy, is the executive producer
yeah,
of the Star Trek shows.
yeah, I know.
So
Um,
I just
at
couldn't
least for
remember.
now, we'll see what happens because Paramount is talking about completely redoing Star Trek. Um, after I think the
From
second season, because Starfleet Academy is supposed to get 2 seasons, and they
mhm.
basically said right now they're not planning anything new past that.
Well,
They're
yeah,
gonna
we
they're
have
gonna
season.
they're basically gonna fill out the contracts that they have, and
Mhm.
then they're gonna completely reevaluate what they want to do with Star Trek.
Right. They have season 4 and 5
Strange New
of
Worlds.
Strange New Worlds that are already in the can.
Yep.
They're
And
done.
season 2 of Starfleet Academy, and
Yeah,
then after that, there's no saying what's going to happen.
correct. There has been talk. There was talk before all of this other shit that went down that of potentially a show to sequel Strange New Worlds. A where the early years of Captain Kirk, the very first years of Captain Kirk, which I think that would be great. I think that would be cool. Let's
Well, yeah,
have,
they were going to
that.
continue um the Strange New Worlds cast
Right. But
with
with
Kirk, and
Kirk instead of,
start
right,
doing
as captain.
the TOS again.
Hmm.
Um But anyway, CD, just so you know, I know you don't really. You said you want to play with your kid, but you're not looking to spend anything. Look at dual decks, DUAL, dual, like a dueling decks, or
Hmm.
DUEL. Um, you can find them online. I just actually looked some up. You can get them for like $35, $20 at Best Buy, $30. You can find them for like 35 or less. There are some that are higher, like the Lord of the Rings ones, like 75. But they're basically two decks for that price, and built. They're meant to be played right out of the box. Just play against each other. That's actually the way to go. And from what I've heard, I've watched some videos and stuff on some people that are talking about it. They actually rave about them, and they've kind of stopped. They've kind of moved away from doing dual decks, and several of the people I've been watching online um is have said that they think that's a mistake, because it's a great way to get beginners into playing Magic, because they are really good decks right out of the box. You're not gonna go to like your local game store and compete. Um, but just to play a game of Magic with somebody else, it's a lot of fun, and that they're really well balanced to play against each other.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, um, you're not gonna come over to Paulie's for Monday Night Magic and expect to win. Shit, my precons. I rarely win with my precons. My vampire
Yeah.
precon wins, but that's about the only one.
All right. Last thing
Um,
we got to say, we should get wrap things up. But the last thing I got to say before we go, we could talk
fuck
about this
ice.
a little bit more. Well, fuck guys. But we could talk about it a little bit more before we go, because next week. But the Master of the Universe trailer
Oh
dropped
yeah,
the other day,
we talked
and
about it a
I
bit online in the Discord channel. Which,
online,
by the way,
yeah,
if you subscribe, you can get involved in the Discord channel where we talk about shit all week long.
yeah, all the time. Um, I gotta say, man, I was really worried. I'm a big fan of He-Man. I was a fan of He-Man going all the way back to the Masters of the Universe, going back to the original series. Um, this looks pretty good. I gotta say. I mean, we've only seen the initial early trailer. It looks fun. It looks like a faithful adaptation. It looks like an origin story. I mean, in fact, I'm guaranteeing it's an origin story. We're seeing Adam on Earth. I wasn't a big fan of the idea of putting Adam on Earth like he's a lost or was hidden away by Randor and Marlena. Um, I wasn't a big fan of that whole idea of starting like it looks like the entire first act he's in on Earth trying to figure out who he is and whatnot. But you can see like he looks great. Everybody looks cool. Skeletor looks badass. Give me chills, actually. We don't see,
Skeletor does look pretty badass.
yeah, we don't see Jared Leto is playing Skeletor. We don't see Jared Leto. So it's
Is he
obviously,
gonna have a mask that he takes off every time he fucking talks, like in every other goddamn movie that
yeah,
they
I
pay
don't
big
think
money to
so.
get a big name star?
It looks like he is, they're doing the probably the digital kind of thing. Um, Allison Brie looks great as Evil Lynn. I mean, everybody
Was that
looks
who's
fucking
playing Evil Lynn? I
fantastic.
didn't even realize
Yes,
that was
Allison
her.
Brie is playing Evil Lynn. Um,
She's so pretty.
Even Cringer looks really great. So, uh, Idris Elba as Man at Arms. I'm excited. I think this could potentially be great. Now, I am cautiously optimistic because Hollywood is a great track record of fucking up things from our childhoods, but uh, this looks pretty decent so far. I think what they did, and I said this to Chris, I think what they've done is they've taken the lessons they learned from the Transformers films. They've taken the good things and they've taken the bad things and figured out what needs to stay and need to go. And I think, I mean, it's probably not going to make people 100% happy. They're probably going to there's going to be issues. But I think overall, we're looking at potentially a pretty great live action version of
Yeah.
the Master of the Universe.
All right.
So,
Well, we got to get going because
yep,
we've been talking for more than 2 hours.
yep. Well, thanks guys for coming in and checking us out on this oh so cold Tuesday here in Detroit. We are not gaming this week. We are not gaming next week, and
We'll be back on
we
the
are not gaming
13th.
the next week. We'll be back on the 13th. I will not be. I will be at Dirty Show, is the big erotic art show in
Yeah,
Detroit. Where
gee,
I'll be
you'll be looking
bodypainting.
at like, boobs
Hey
and
man,
penises.
as much as there's good naked there, there's a lot of naked that
There's a lot
necessarily
of questionable naked too, yeah.
a lot of questionable naked as well. So it's not all. I'll
It's
be
not
hanging
all
out with
fun and
some other guys.
games.
Not
It's
all fun and games. It's a job. I do enjoy this gig though. It's a lot of fun. So if you are in the
Renee and I went
Detroit
last
area,
year. It was fun. The
yeah.
the the burlesque show was
Did you go last year
fucking
or the year before?
last year.
You went last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
25th.
Uh, some great burlesque. Some
Yeah,
really
the
great
burlesque show was
boylesque.
great. We had great seats. Although there was the one dude that had to be escorted out last year.
Oh, there's always a couple.
Well,
You know.
he got a little too much for the escort, and
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
one burlesque dancer put her foot on his chest and kind of pushed him, and
Yes, yeah.
he just flopped to the ground like a fucking dead fish,
Like he had been
and cut
hurt.
his head and stuff, and like
Mhm.
threw a fucking tantrum.
Yep, I remember that was a friend of mine. Not the guy, but the girl.
Yeah,
And
she
yeah,
felt awful.
she did. She really did. Um, but that guy
But
was a
I
drunken
watched the whole
dipshit.
thing, and he was completely out of line.
Mm-hmm.
He was an
Yeah.
asshole.
Oh yeah. And there always is. There's always a number of assholes, but it's a great time. It's a great event. A lot of fun.
Some of the art was
Uh,
really good too.
there's some really solid art. Since I've been going and started and been doing the gig, uh, the art has greatly improved from when like I first went like 15, 18 years ago, like when then it was still kind of new. They've really been doing a great job kind of cultivating and curating this show over the last 20 years. This is actually the 26th year.
Hmm.
So good time.
That's
If
why I
you
said
guys
we
are
went for
looking
the
for a
25th anniversary.
fun,
We got the t-shirts to prove it.
yeah, it's
Because we did the VIP.
right. That's right. You did the VIP. It is $50 in advance, $60 at the door. So it's not a cheap night, but it is. It's
The
interesting and it's
entertainment
fun.
is worth it. The
Right.
burlesque show alone is worth
Yeah.
the money. It
Absolutely.
really was fantastic burlesque, and it's both male and female burlesque. So
Yeah. And then there's people doing pole work, and there's
and honestly, one of the best burlesque
Lyra.
performers I saw was actually a guy last year.
Sure. Yeah.
The
There's
one
some
guy
really
with the
great
big
boylesque.
teacup hat. He was fucking amazing.
Yeah, some really, really creative work. And then, like I said, there's other things to do too. There's interactive stuff, and there's, um, just a lot of fun. And I
There's
body paint.
usually an
There's a number of different
aerialist.
aerial artists. Like I said, there'll be girls doing pole. There's go-go dancers. And like I said, and there's just really great art. And it's very much a like let your freak flag fly kind of event. It's very non-judgmental. So it's just a really good time. So like I said, it's at the Russell Industrial Complex on just off of I-75,
The problem is it's in the middle of
north of
fucking
Grand
winter,
River.
so it's fucking cold
That
out
is the
there.
drag. It's 13th and 14th and the 20th and 21st. So February. So it is tend to be pretty cold. So yeah,
There was
I'll
pole work
be.
on Night of the Seven Kingdoms a couple times.
Yep. Next, see, next week is the third. We'll be doing our show next week on the
The
third.
day
It'll be the
after your
day after
birthday.
my birthday. I'll be turning 52 next week. I'll be the same number as the
Happy,
number of
happy
universes
birthday.
in DC. So yeah. Um, but anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Be sure to join us every Tuesday night here at 8 o'clock and every other Friday night at 7:30 for our D&D game. And have a great night.
Yeah, remember to follow, subscribe if you can. If you do subscribe to Amazon Prime, you get a free uh Twitch subscription every month. Throw it our way. If you're not using it
Mhm.
for something else, throw it our way. It helps the show out a lot. If you like what we do, let us know. Subscribing also gets you access to our Discord channel, where we are pretty active. So are the other members of the Tavern Knights cast.
Correct.
We're all on there, and we do talk. We've got different channels for different things. We've got one for BG3. We've got one for Magic the Gathering. Now as things come up, we're creating new servers for them, so you can talk about what you want to talk about.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
and then if you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to give us the thumbs up, hit subscribe, leave a comment. All of that helps the algorithm, and helps us move up. So we'd really appreciate that from you. And
Absolutely.
also just let us know what you think. If there's things you want to see, things you want us to talk about, things like that. You think we're a bunch of leftist nutbags, you know, let us know.
Yeah, let us know
Yeah,
if we're some leftist nut bags.
yeah,
That's
because
great.
we'll tell your MAGA ass to go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so
Buckeyes.
other than that, I think that's gonna about do it.
That should do it.
So until next time,
Until next time,
Slancha.
slancha.
All right, have a good week, everybody.
Good night.